This podcasting lark sounds easy, doesn't it? Well, it is when you've got the right equipment, such as Monkey Banana Happer podcasting microphones.
If you're liking how we're sounding now, head on over to Monkey Banana and check out their great range of products.
If you're in the market for live sound, studio sound, or just podcasting like us, they're a fantastic brand for you. Find their stuff at monkey-banana.de.
Or check out our website, gottill5.com, and follow the links.
You have until the count of 5.
I happen to love the number 5. It's a beautiful number, a glorious number.
You got to the count of 5.
Welcome to the Got Till 5 Wrestling Podcast with me, Max Curtin, and my host, Jesse Patrick Benz.
Daddy's home!
Daddy's home. How are you, my friend?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm good. That intro...
I've been watching Bob Ross, so I feel chill.
You sound chill.
Yeah, I'm so chill.
Did you learn anything from Bob Ross? Have you got any more painting techniques?
There were so many happy little trees. The main thing that I learned is that Bob Ross doesn't have a fingernail on his right index finger. There's some news. I don't know what to do with this information, but I feel like the world needs to know.
You just wanted to tell thousands of people right now.
Yeah,
about
there was a clip of him feeding some squirrels with a syringe, and you could see his finger, and there was no nail on it. Well, and I was eating as well. It was disgusting.
Well, the man's a war veteran, so if
that's the worst injury, yeah, you're doing all right.
He's doing all right for himself. Let's be honest. I've got to give kudos to you straight off the bat. This is your 4th straight week doing a podcast.
Is it?
Yeah. So I got injured. You filled in and did it with Steve. Then I came back. We did a show together. Last week we recorded with that podcast doing the Survivor Series review.
I'm the fucking Iron Man of podcasting.
You really are, mate. You really are.
I didn't even realise I'd done that. That's how lonely my life is.
You're going above and beyond, is what you're doing.
I know. Thank you. Bloody hell. Thanks.
So this week we are doing top 5 betrayals in wrestling. So people who have been stabbed in the back by a friend, a mentee, whatever the case may be. We will be recapping that a little bit later on.
Which is basically every wrestling storyline that's ever been. It always happens at some point.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're a tag team, then that's just
it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And then we've been speaking to the Got Till 5 Milky Way universe. You guys have given us a lot of responses as well, so we'll be going through those a little bit later. And we also have a special guest coming up in a little bit, which is very exciting, because Jesse doubted that I was going to do it this week, so fuck you.
You didn't tell me that we had a guest this week until earlier today, and I was so ready to go in on you for not organising anything and being a little bitch, and now everything that I wanted to say has just gone out the window. I don't know what to do.
There you go. You just sit quietly and think of your happy little trees.
Think of England.
Think of England. Also, exciting news, which we've kind of been keeping a little bit secret, is we have a new sister podcast.
Yes, we do. It's called Game Till 5, and it's hosted by Steph and Nikki, and they're awesome. They talk about top 5 video game stuff. Their first episode's out. They did top 5 video game protagonists. They're adorable. They're funny. They're very knowledgeable. And if they surpass us in popularity, I will kill them.
Yeah, it's true. Jesse said they'll die bouncing, which I thought
they will die bouncing. That's my official stance on the matter.
Yeah, so we thought we'd expand Got Till 5 a little bit. It's something I wanted to do for a while, and when the idea came up that they were looking at doing a podcast, I was like, why don't you just kind of do our format, and then we can kind of, just look at expanding. So check them out on iTunes and on Twitter, Game Till 5. Also on our website, gottill5.com/GameTill5. You'll be able to find them on there as well. So
we own them now, right? That's
we
how
do
this
own
works.
them. We own women.
Okay, cool. All right, wicked. Just checking.
2018. It's great.
Me too.
So top 5 protagonists is their first episode, and I think they're doing like top 5 PS1 next week. So stay tuned to the Twitters for all of that stuff. But you guys are here to talk about wrestling, so let's talk about some goddamn wrestling. Our guest this week is a very dear personal friend of mine, which is very exciting for me. We have joining us today...
Max's mum!
Well done. We have the Elliott Jordan Experience. Hello, mate. How are you?
Hey, Max. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for not acknowledging Jesse. That makes me very happy straight off the bat.
Yeah, I'm just going to apologise to Jesse that I am not Max's mum. I am sorry that he's been disappointed there.
Right, Elliot, so you've been having a bit of a good year, haven't you?
Yeah, I like to think 2018 has been... It's been the year of the experience, shall we say. Still got a couple of weeks left. Got a few more dates left, so it's going to get better, I think.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you've got a lot coming up this weekend, haven't you? And then a couple more at the end of the month.
Yeah, we've got Kamikaze Pro Frostfight 6 on Saturday, and it's always the best event of the year. It's crazy. There's always so many surprises and things going on. But then debuting for New Star Pro Wrestling on Sunday. They've got a Star Contenders tournament going on, so I'm hoping to be leaving their number one contender. And then I'm rounding off the weekend by fighting 15-year-old Elliott Jordan on Sunday for Kamikaze Pro Live 16. And that is going to be mental because she is a black belt in kickboxing. She's an MMA beast. And I'm going to drop a 15-year-old girl on her head. It's going to be great.
See, this is why we invited you on.
You're
awesome. At our level.
This is my kind of wrestler. That I feel like that's the sort of career I'd be pursuing if I was a pro wrestler.
Just fighting 15-year-old girls.
Yeah, leave out the black belt shit. I'm not interested in those 15-year-old girls. Just the ones that can't fight. Give me them.
Oh yeah,
I think you've got a career there, mate.
Thanks.
She's going to get dropped on red, and I'm going to stamp on the back of it just like everyone else. So.
Perfect. That's what we like to hear. And speaking of you, like number one contendership, let's just run through what you've done recently. So you got that WPW contract in a case, Kamikaze Pro Bank on It briefcase. So with those, you can challenge for a title at any point. MBW champion, and you're currently standing at a 7-0 undefeated streak in Kamikaze.
Actually, 8. It's actually 8. So when
did the 8th happen?
Don't disrespect him.
The ladder match was the 8th.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, if I win on Saturday and I win on Sunday, I can finish the year 10-0 for Kamikaze. So
nice, that'll be good. How was the ladder match? Because you obviously, when we do training, you don't really get trained for ladder matches and stuff. And you're in there with who was it? Yeah, Ligero, Phantasmo. Who else was in there?
It was Ligero, Phantasmo, Jack Stars, Kay Jutler, Charlie Evans, and Robbie X. So I was in there with some of the best workers this country's got. But yeah, like you say, there's no training for getting thrown into a ladder. That's just one of them things I was just going to experience for the first time out there, and I can tell you it is not fun at all. Not fun at all, a little bit. But the match itself was probably one of my favourite matches of the year. It was absolutely crazy. I got through into the ladder, I think, five times, and each time I had someone running in, hitting a strike on me from the corner. So that wasn't fun. I got to live out a childhood dream though, and I got to be Matt Hardy for 30 seconds. I got to, when I hit the side effect, should I say, on Jack Stars from 3/4 the way up the ladder. I mean, it was fun until the impact. That one was probably the most painful part of the match. But yeah, like you said, I managed to climb the ladder at the end, and when I won that briefcase, I mean, as much as I was celebrating being the Bank on It briefcase holder, I was also celebrating that the match was now over and I could just climb down the ladder.
Fair point. Now we've known each other for a while now, but one thing I realised, I don't really know kind of your background with like your history of wrestling. Now, am I kind of right in thinking that you kind of came late to the game watching wrestling?
Yeah, I didn't watch wrestling until I was in my second year of uni, and me and my best mates had moved into a house together. And we were just up one night, I think probably pre-drinking, and Monday Night Raw was on because we got Sky. They both watched when they were kids. They loved it. I'd played like the games on my PS1 back in the day. But then we kept recording it and we watched it. I think it was building up to the Bragging Rights 2010 pay-per-view. And so we decided we'd buy that, we'd have a few drinks and that, make a night of it. And I remember watching that match. It was the big SmackDown versus Raw tag. Edge and Rey Mysterio just cleared up for SmackDown. And it just literally got me hooked. And then a couple of weeks later, I found out that one of the people I worked with at Walkabout in Middlesbrough, they actually trained wrestling. So they took me along one time, and I was just thinking, I'll go in it just for the fitness sort of thing, got to try. And then I ended up taking it a lot more seriously. Moved down to Birmingham. I was in Birmingham for a couple of weeks, and that's when the Kamikaze Pro Dojo started, and the rest kind of history, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Have you ever kind of made a point to kind of go back and check out matches? Were there like eras where you've gone back and watched and gone, oh shit, this is really good? Or have you just kind of stayed consistent from there?
Oh yeah, I mean, when I used to watch it and stuff, I just used to watch the WE for the first couple of years, and then since I've been in Birmingham training, like these past 4 years, I've got the network. I watch all sorts. I mean, I love Ring of Honor, New Japan, and a lot of the British stuff. I watch like Progress, the ICWs. I don't actually watch that much WE anymore. It's mainly just the NXT and the NXT UK, just because they're on the network and it's easily accessible sort of thing. But yeah, I've definitely gone back. Even though I've only been watching wrestling for like 7 years, I've probably watched the same amount of wrestling as like yourself or someone who's been in it.
Just consume it. I think everyone's kind of in the same boat with W at the moment. Like everyone we interview, everyone we talk to now is just like, yeah, I just don't watch the product. It's NXT, and that's pretty much it. Everyone kind of focuses on.
Yeah, that's it. 'Cause, I mean, the NXT, it's the great format. I mean, the 1 hour shows. There's usually about 3 or 4 matches and things. They're all good quality matches, and the takeover shows they're just some of the best stuff WWE's done in recent years. Whereas you watch the Raws and SmackDowns, it's 3. I mean, SmackDown's 2 hours and Raw's 3 hours, but you're getting probably 3 or 4 matches that aren't like 1 minute, 2 minute matches and stuff. It's just, you sit there and just get bored and end up doing something else really with it.
Yeah, I haven't got the time. To watch like a 3 hour Raw. It's exhausting.
You can't live a normal life and watch all the WWE stuff that they have on offer. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's crazy, but why is someone going to sit there and watch a 3 hour show that's just not very good anymore, when they can go and watch hundreds of different indie shows and things, and it's a much better quality of wrestling.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
They've definitely capitalized and upped their game a little bit. Now, so when I started training at Cami, it was kind of a case of like, I'd see you every now, like I knew you trained on the Wednesdays and I trained on the Mondays and stuff. And then there was a time I remember when it was like you and Mika on the main show doing a tag team match. And then it was kind of a case of you disappeared for a little bit. But then when you came back, it was kind of a case of you were training constantly, you were getting booked on all the shows, and you almost kind of became this like locker room leader because you were just like constantly at training and it's like what everyone looked up to. What was your kind of change for like, okay, this is me 100%?
It was, thing is, kind of when I first debuted for Kamikaze, I was the Wolf of Broad Street, Elliott Jordan sort of thing. You know, there wasn't the live shows back then. It's when me and Mika started on the main shows. So that was really the only match experience I was getting, sort of thing. And to be honest, I didn't really enjoy the character and things. A lot of times I was just going out there and like as Mika's manager sort of thing. So I wasn't really having a lot of fun. I wasn't really in love with it, sort of thing. So then when I kind of come off that, I stopped doing the main shows and things, and I came back and I was just like, I actually had a conversation with James and we were like, right, we need to change your character, sort of thing. And then the Elliott Jordan Experience came around. I was really focused on the training and everything. I was enjoying things a lot more. And because of that, and then when the Kamikaze live shows started, they got a lot more regular, and a couple of promotions around Birmingham, around the West Midlands area, in Dudley and places like that, started getting more reps working for them, and so it meant when I got the call back I was pretty sure I was wrestling Jack Stars in I can't remember the name of the event, but it was last September now, September 2017. Came back and wrestled Jack Stars as the Elliott Jordan Experience back on the main shows for Kamikaze. And since then, I wrestled El Fantasmo a month later. I was kind of in full stride sort of thing. I was putting on some good matches. I was training, and I had the support of the dojo. I can't put into words how much support that everyone in the dojo gives each other. It is like you'll know it from your own experience. It is like a good little family and things.
Yeah, it's a proper family.
It is, yeah. It's lovely in a way, and everything just kind of came together at the right time. And I've not been able to look back since, because everything's just worked out really well since the Elliott Jordan Experience came. And I was just like, when I go out there now, I absolutely love it. Like, it's the most fun thing I can do, going out there and being the Elliott Jordan Experience now. And I think that shows, and because of that, I've managed to push on and really get out there, like you say.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I'm going to quick break because my Tesco shopping's arrived,
Hooray!
everyone.
So, what did you have for breakfast today?
I had a lovely bowl of cornflakes with 2 bananas.
Cornflakes. The bananas jazz it up. That's good. But I learned recently that the Mr. Kellogg, who invented cornflakes, was a staunch anti-masturbator. Was against anyone masturbating. So he invented cornflakes as a bland meal to sort of assist people with that.
Oh, it's mental. And I feel sorry for his wife. He was married for, I think it was like a good 20, 30 years as well. So you got to feel sorry for his missus there. That
is a shame. Did you know that? You sounded like you already knew that fact.
Yeah, I knew. I found that out a few months ago. Yeah, it's it is a bit messed up.
It is, yeah. Like, what a strange detail about our love cereal. I had pate on toast this morning, which I've never had for breakfast before, and I don't think I'll be doing it again, because I don't think since King Henry VIII, there's never been anyone that's had something so rich first thing in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's a very posh breakfast. That is.
Yeah, horrendous though. I wouldn't recommend it at all.
Oh yeah, you can't beat, like, the more posh you get, the worse it gets. You can't beat your good old like fry up sort of thing, or a bowl of cereal.
There you go. Yeah, I agree. You've converted me. That's me from now on.
Right, I'm back.
You're
I'm
back.
all good.
Nice.
So
have we?
You asked for a Tesco shop between 7 and 8, and they show up 8 minutes beforehand.
Brilliant. Well, we've just done the best bit of the show without you, so I think
standard.
Yeah, so I don't think.
What are you talking about? I came back in and there was like breakfast talk. Did you literally just talk about breakfast?
We've covered breakfast, masturbation, and King Henry VIII.
I was gone like 2 minutes. Fair enough. I'll slot back into the interview then, shall I?
I think you better.
I think I better. Okay, so because you've had a lot of matches this year and quite a lot of high-profile ones, who's been your favourite opponent so far?
Oh,
I know, right?
That's a very good question. I mean, I'll always love wrestling the Hunter brothers. Either Lee or Jim. Any match I'm involved with either of them two it's always a load of fun. And I got to wrestle. I was in a singles match against Lee at the Empire, March 4th. It was one of the first Kamikaze Pro shows of the year. And I went into it. I was injured. Lee came in. He was injured. So it ended up being like me versus Lee, and it was only about 8 minutes long. Jim came out, got involved. There was a couple of, I think there was 3 dick shots in the one.
I remember now. Yeah.
Within the space of 45 seconds. So that match is one of my favourites of the year. And like I said, the Hunters will always be up there. But I think this year my favourite opponent, it's got to be David Starr. I wrestled him at Underground. No, it wasn't Underground. It was at Empire. It was the next match after the Hunter brothers. And I said this to him the other day. I was like, that match was like, it was like the Sting and Ric Flair match for me in WCW that really put Sting on the map. That match gave me the confidence that I could go out and put a match on of that quality. I got some really good feedback from that match. Everyone that knows me seems to say that's been my best match ever as well. So probably David Starr, because he just gave me the confidence that I could go out there and actually wrestle to that quality. And he's such a nice guy as well. I mean, it was a funny story because I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, Him and Timothy Thatcher they ended up staying at my flat for a few days. Like James had him over for Cammy, so I looked after him for that. So then 2 years later, I'm getting to actually wrestle him on a main show at the Empire in front of an absolutely hellacious crowd. So yeah, it's got to be David Starr this year.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's a good shout.
He does seem like a top dude as well, and obviously a stunningly talented wrestler as well. Like you say, he put you over, as gave you in that Ric Flair sort of Sting way. Like you sort of see these wrestlers of David Starr's sort of ilk and stuff, and they don't have to do that, but they still do, which is so cool.
Oh yeah, that was the thing. I mean, he could have come along and just had any old normal basic match, but I mean, I think we were supposed to do 15 minutes, and we ended up doing about, I think it was about 28. The match finished on. We just went crazy. It was just full throttle from the start. I mean, he actually put me over on Twitter a few days before, said, that I was like, I think he said something like I was one of the first people he met when he came over here, and we got on from the start and that. So it was really cool to have that big moment against such a guy like him. I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch the match, it's worth it just for the entrances alone. Colin,
good, yeah.
His whole entrance commentary and my entrance, all from memory, no cue cards and everything. And if you've heard David's entrances, you've heard my entrance. You know they're not exactly easy.
I remember Colin's little celebration after he did it. His little, raise the arms, because I don't know how he remembers. Even just David Starr's entrance alone is enough to kind of boggle the mind.
It's basically a soliloquy.
It is. Good shout, Jesse. Well done. So did you kind of find you learn, because obviously when you're in the ring, you're still kind of learning and picking stuff up from people. Do you reckon Starr was someone that you might have learned the most from? Because I know you've been in there with like guys like Ligero and Phantasmo and stuff. Like, who's been the best kind of like teacher while wrestling?
To be honest, I've been very lucky this year that every match I've managed to learn little bits from, whether that's been in the ring stuff or out the back stuff. Every time I'm in the ring, I'm picking up new things and I'm learning. The person I've probably learned the most from in the ring this year would actually be Marshall X. James the Kamikaze Marshall X, because obviously he's the head trainer at the Kamikaze Pro Dojo, so I've managed to be in the ring loads of times with him in training. But we actually got lucky that we managed to wrestle each other twice this year, and it was in only a short span of time. It was only within, I think it was a week. I wrestled him on like a Friday, and then the following week. It was
nothing but wrestling and then commentary, right?
Yeah, I wrestled him at nothing but wrestling, and then the following week at Kamikaze Pro at the Empire. So it was really good, because obviously we knew each other very well going into the match. So whereas usually I'm concentrating on the actual match itself, and that when I was out there with James, that was kind of on the back foot sort of thing. I knew that I'd be able to do everything fine. I was getting to learn other little things that I wouldn't pick up in other matches, because like when you're out there with someone who you know very well, it's a lot easier to concentrate on other things, if that kind of makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Nice. Now, let's just quickly talk about gimmick, because I know you mentioned earlier you went from like Wolf of Broad Street, that's really difficult to say, I can see why you got rid of it now, to the streamlined, aerodynamic, Elliott Jordan Experience, all of that going on. So that was something that you and James kind of worked on together. How did that kind of like come about? Because basically it's just, you're bold and you got a beard, right? So
that literally is it, to be honest. So I was actually sitting on James's sofa. We're in his flat, and he just turned around and says, "Oh, we need to change your character in that." And we had a little brainstorm, and he just, the fans have always, since day one in Kamikaze, have always been going on that I'm bald, that I've got an upside down head. And they're just complete and utter bullies, like absolute bullies. It's ridiculous. So James was like, right, we're going to have to think of something to do with that. And in a few matches before, I'd referenced, this is the Elliott Jordan Experience. That's what you're going to get, sort of thing. So I was just like, well, how about just that for a name? Like, make people refer to me as the Elliott Jordan Experience. That'd be the whole thing. I didn't have the streamlines and aerodynamic at the time. I think it was the first or second match as it. The crowd was just chanting about my hair, well, my lack of hair. And I just turned around, and now I'd never said those two words together before. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I'd said either of them words in my whole life, to be honest. But I just turned around to the crowd and was like, it's not bald, it's streamlined and aerodynamic. It just worked, and it just went from there. And then we got the entrance with Colin, where he wrote the few lines for the announcement, and I just that's pretty much how it came about. And at the start, it was like, if I watched matches of the Elliott Jordan Experience when it first started, it's a lot different to the Elliott Jordan Experience of now, because while I've managed to grow as a wrestler, I've managed to grow the Elliott Jordan Experience character parallel to that. The best way to describe it is to say the Elliott Jordan Experience is just an absolute dickhead.
And they like to boo you. You look at especially Bank on it that's just happened when you were climbing up for the briefcase and everyone was just chanting anyone but Elliott. You know, that's exactly the reaction that you want to be seeing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's a crazy reaction I get from the crowd, I think, because whereas when I make my entrance, everyone's booing me. They enjoy it as well. Like the interactions I have with the crowd, people laugh, like the crowd get into it, even though they don't like me. They've got to respect the character, and they do, sort of thing. I'm a dickhead, but I'm the dickhead that they want to see.
Well, it's true. I think it's like that mutual respect thing, isn't it? You've kind of got that how comedians have. So if someone heckles you, you're immediately on it, and you've got a response for them. And I think that's what kind of resonates with the crowd. Because normally, you can tell a good bad guy here, whatever, by if someone says something in the crowd and all they do is shut up. You know, that's just kind of basic. But you always give at least something back, normally about their physical appearance, which I appreciate.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they're going to insult me because of the way I look, and then they're going to get it back. I mean, I think my favourite insult I've ever given is I called someone a dingle. They were hideous, to be honest, and they were giving lots of shit. And I just turned around to them and I said, "You look like you're an extra off Emmerdale. You could be one of the dingles." they soon shut up, but everyone in the venue thought it was hilarious, and it got a good reaction and that. So that's exactly what I want. I like to think the interactions I have with the crowd, they make me who I am in the ring, sort of thing.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Definitely,
that's awesome.
So we're coming up to 2019 now. We're rounding out a very good year for yourself. What are you what do you hope to get out of it? What are you looking for in 2019?
2019, I want it to be a big year. I've had a very good year this year. I mean, when I went into 2018, when I went into this year, I had to think what year it was then. Yeah, when I went into 2018, I'd had 3 matches back on the main shows. I'd wrestled Jack Stars, El Phantasmo, and Bram. So my main target for this year was just to become a regular on the roster. And it was funny, I actually just wanted to be in the Bank On It match. That was one of my biggest targets, to just actually compete in that match. And I've finished the year. I've been on every single main Kamikaze Pro show. I'm 8 matches unbeaten. I've won the Bank On It briefcase. So next year, I want a title. I'm going for a title. I want to have a title in Kamikaze. That'd be absolutely amazing. I think I'll have finished this year on just shy of 50 matches. I think I'm on about 48. So hopefully I can finish this year on 50. But next year I really want to push it and have 100. Want to be in triple figures on the matches. I've got a list of a load of promotions that I want to wrestle for, that I want to debut in next year. So hopefully this year has been a big year, but I hope by the end of next year it's small in comparison to my 2019.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Well, I hope so, mate.
Have you got any dream opponents for next year? Anyone that you haven't wrestled yet that you're desperate to?
It's a funny question because when I get asked this, I never really know who to say, because the people who I want to wrestle, I've wrestled all the guys from the dojo who are all like my good friends, and that I've got to wrestle Marshall X, the trainer, both the Hunter brothers. I've got to wrestle David Starr. I think next year I'd love to have Cage Cutler in a singles match. I think that'd be really cool. And as well, I'd like to wrestle I can't remember whether it's Mark or Matt. I just call him Mr. Clark. But I'd love to wrestle the Clark brothers, because a lot of my training, I was training with the Hunter brothers at their unit, and a lot of the time, both of the Clark brothers would be taking the training, would be there as well. So I really get on with both of them. I've know one of them has already retired, so I really want to wrestle the other one in a singles match. I'm hoping it happens at Wolf Run some point next year. So yeah, nice. they're no one really huge there. I'm sorry, but yeah.
No, it's cool though. And retirement means absolutely nothing in wrestling, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is 100% true.
So we've got a little surprise for you in a second, where we're going to spring a top 5 on you. I didn't tell you about that because that's just what we do here. But tell everyone where they can find your socials, what you wrestle, and any merch plugs that you want to do.
Okay, so you can look me up on Facebook. It's the Elliott Jordan Experience. You can look me up on Instagram. It's also the Elliott Jordan Experience. And you can hit me up on Twitter. It is Elliott Jordan XP. And merch, I have T-shirts and badges available at all shows. You can catch me this weekend at the Cadbury Club Birmingham for Kamikaze Pro Frostfight 6. That's on Saturday. Sunday, I'm at New Hall Social Club in Swaddling Coat, Derby for New Star Pro Wrestling. And then back at the Cadbury Club for Kamikaze Pro Live. So there's 3 chances to see me this weekend. I hope some of you can make it there. And at the end of the month, I've got Nothing But Wrestling on the 22nd of December. That's Nothing But Wrestling versus Kamikaze Pro Live, and that's at the Brook Street Social Club, Tipton, defending my Nothing But Wrestling.
There you go.
Wrestling Championship against Sean Devine.
I was going to say you sell out, turning your back on us, Camelot.
Oh well, I was a bit annoyed about it because I'm the only person to have been on every Kamikaze Pro Live show, so I would have liked to have fought for Kamikaze, but I am also Mr. Nothing But Wrestling with the Nothing But Wrestling British Championship. So
it's true.
There you go.
You're in a tough spot there. It's fair. Well, I'll be seeing you. So
just before we move on to the top 5 and everything, were you there, Elliot, when Max broke his collarbone?
Oh yeah, I walked in the door, saw them all training. I literally just said hello to the group, went to go to the toilet, and Max broke his collarbone. For all of about 5 seconds, and Max broke his collarbone, which is ironic because when Max was it your ankle that you broke last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, last time when Max broke his ankle, I was also at that training session, so that's why I'm a bit worried about if me and Max are ever in the same place again.
Right, yeah.
Well,
so
I was going to say, I'm going to be seeing you this weekend most probably, so I'm a little bit nervous. Maybe we'll just wave from across the room and I'll make sure there's nothing around me.
Yeah, that's it. I'll just stay outside until...
He's my cursed monkey paw. I'm not blaming. It just happens when we're in the same room. We've done how many training sessions together now, and there was just those twice. So I think we're good.
Oh, I hope so.
Although I remember once, I think it was when you were testing out your new finisher. When you do it, it's the Aero Driver, right?
The Streamlined Aero Driver, yeah.
Streamlined. There you go. Sorry, mate. And so we were having a training session, and I think I was talking to Sean. And Elliot just comes up from Miami. He goes, "Hey Max, can I try something?" And before I can turn around and say no, I got a kick in the stomach. He hooks both my arms and delivers it, and then just stands up and goes, "Yeah, that does look good," and then just walks away.
Yeah.
So cheers for that, mate.
That's it. Hey, you've got the honour of being one of the very first people to be driven.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'll maybe I just won't wrestle around you, and then we'll come together.
Match one day, so it's gonna have. Maybe we'll just that'll just have to be the next time we physically meet when we're actually in the ring.
Done. Book it.
Cut to you being stretched out.
The sirens in the background. Okay, so for every guest, Elliott, you are wrestler number 8 now, I believe we've had on here. So lucky number 8. We always subject them to a top 5, and they either do it really quickly, or they spend about 15 minutes trying to think about it. So
Name and no names.
Name and no names, Chris Ridgway. What should we do, Jesse? Should we just go for the standard top 5?
I think that's what people want to hear, isn't it? Like, we always think that we want to go for a different one, but I think people listening who like Elliott or anyone else that we've had on just want to hear the basic top 5, don't they?
Yeah, it's true. So what we normally ask is your top 5 favorite wrestlers. They could be just like people that you enjoy watching. They could be influential to you. Just people maybe in the industry, or just people you watch on TV who are just like influential to you.
Okay, I'll have to go. My number 1 will be Edge.
I can see why you two are friends now.
Yeah, Ed,
brilliant choice.
At the end of the day, when I turned on my TV, Edge was one of the first wrestlers I saw, and he was probably the reason I actually got into wrestling in the first place. So it'd have to be Edge's number 1.
It's exactly my reason, mate. Exactly mine.
Number 2. I can understand why people do take a little bit time on this. I
know we mock, but we're full of sympathy, really.
Number two. I'm gonna have to say CM Punk. You know, third, I'm gonna go in Chris Jericho.
Solid.
As long as he's been in wrestling sort of thing, he's always adapted. He's so many different characters and things, and he's always been so entertaining and everything. I mean, when he was doing the list of Jericho thing, I think a lot of people started to enjoy wrestling quite a bit more when he was doing that. And now the stuff he's doing with New Japan and the Cruise of Jericho, and how he's popping up everywhere here and there, I just think he's unreal. He's amazing, and he's a genuine fucking rock star at the same time. Like, that's just cool, man.
It's true. I don't know why he keeps doing what he's been doing all this time.
He hasn't missed a step in nearly 30 years. It's ridiculous. There's some Benjamin Button shit going on.
Oh yeah, he's mental in it. He's absolutely mental. It's crazy. I had my 4th choice in my head, and I was about to say it, and it's just literally straight gone out of there.
This person has clearly affected you greatly.
It just popped into my head, and I was like, oh, like that's got to be up there. I can't remember who it was now. I'll see if I can come back to it. But number 5 was going to be Bram.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Bram's fucking sick, man. He's such a cool. He's such a cool guy.
He's sound as fuck, isn't he? And the match that you two had was brilliant. Loved the match that you two had.
It was so much fun. But it's like I got a bit of a story with Bram. It was funny when I first started wrestling up in Middlesbrough. When I left to come down to Birmingham, they actually started to use Bram quite a bit in that. And then we ended up bumping into each other after he did TNA in Birmingham one time. And I was working in Obar. He came in with Jason Prime. We just got chatting and stuff. We just like kind of got on and stuff. Like, we had a couple of drinks and that. And we were talking about like the whole Middlesbrough thing. Like, we had that link and that. And then I got to wrestle him and stuff. And then we got to spend. I did a few dates for Exposure Wrestling in Wales, and I was in the car with Bram, and there was a few times it was just me and him doing like, we're in the car for about 8-9 hours each time, and we just got on. He's just such a cool guy. Like, getting to pick his brains about wrestling, for a few hours was absolutely unreal. Like he loves it. He absolutely loves his business, and he cares so much about it. Like he's so passionate about it as well. And British wrestling is lucky to have people like him in locker rooms and things like that. My fourth choice, I'm going to have to it's a joint. It's just going to be the Hunter brothers, because anytime I'm on a show that they're on, I will always go out of my way to watch their match, because they can do it all. They're just so entertaining. It doesn't matter who they're in there with, how many people are in the crowd, where they are. They will go out there and have an absolutely unreal match, and it's just so entertaining. And just because of the fact that when I'm in there with them as well wrestling, it's the most fun. Like when you're wrestling the Hunter brothers, you're having the time. You're just having such a fun time, and you're also getting to learn so much as well. Like they are the best tag team in Europe as well, and I do think they're one of the best tag teams in the world as well. And it's an absolute massive shame that they're not out there everywhere, all the big places. They deserve it.
Yeah, 100% agree. They're the most underrated, best tag team going in Europe today, without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh yeah, every time they're in there, they're having 5-star matches, and they deserve to be wrestling in front of thousands of people. I would absolutely love to see them on NXT UK. Like they deserve it so much.
Yeah, 100% agree. More than deserved. Well, that's a solid top 5. I think we'll put you like middle of the pack of being able to knock out a top 5. I think TK Cooper still holds the record, and I don't think that's getting beaten.
Yeah, he just verbal diarrheaed it, didn't he, in a second? Yeah. Just all 5 fell out of his mouth at once.
Exactly. So so you're in the middle of the pack there, Elliot. That's good.
The podcast is called Got Till 5. I should have expected something like this, so I'm happy with that, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's good timing. Well, we appreciate you joining us. I'll catch up with you this weekend. But for anyone listening, go check out Elliott's Twitters and everything like that. Check out the Kamikaze video on demand service to find out some more of his matches. A hell of a talent who's going to go very far in the future. So make sure you go and check out some more matches and support. That's what this is all about. This is why we bring these people on, so you guys can get to know them. So yeah, check out more. Elliot, thank you for joining us, and yeah, hope it was painless for you.
No, I've had a lot of fun tonight. Thank you for having me, guys.
Cheers, Elliot.
I hope everyone listening does check out my social media, and I hope to see a few of you at shows. Please come up and approach me at shows. And Max, I'm so excited you're going to be there this weekend.
Right, we'll just nod from across the room. I'll text you from across the room.
Yeah, just give me a nice wave.
Will do, mate. All right, I'll catch up with you soon, bud. Thanks for joining us, and we'll speak soon, mate.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
And that was the Elliott Jordan Experience. So as I said, go and check out everything that he plugged there. And if you're in the Birmingham or West Midlands area, go check out every show he's on, because 100% I believe that he is a great talent and worth watching. So go check him out.
What a lovely man.
Lovely man with his upside down face.
With his upside face. See, I feel like every time we have a guest, we also have a new friend.
Right. That's what we're doing here. We're building memories.
Building memories, building friendships, building bridges, and we can all love each other. For God's sake, Max, give me a kiss.
Mwah!
Mwah!
Right.
Okay, we got top 5 to get to.
We do. We talked for quite a while on that one. That was
my
not good.
Hurts.
You didn't say anything.
Yeah, I know. I was quite quiet for that one, wasn't I? You were just nattering away.
Sorry.
But that's all right. I just sat here touching things. Okay. Touching me.
So we are doing our top 5 betrayals in wrestling. Basically, what's going to happen to this podcast? One of us is going to betray the other one.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know who's going to do it first. Like, either I'm going to find a new co-host, or you're just going to leave me.
Or I'll be... Well, that's it. So I couldn't do this show without you, but I could certainly get drafted to another show and just fuck you over and run away. that's more my style.
I get very nervous for the podcast draft that comes up every year. Very scary time. No,
I think
we'll
I would definitely turn heel on you though. If,
definitely. It's in your characteristics.
Yeah, exactly. I would be the bad guy of the situation.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Betrayals, as Jesse said at the start of the show, it's pretty much every wrestling storyline that's ever existed, ever, really. So, we've got a fair few, and you feel like there's going to be some crossovers, don't you? And I kind of agree.
We're definitely going to have some crossovers.
I'm going with like two. Two's my money.
2. Yes.
You sound committed to that.
Yeah, no, I'm going with 2. I agree with you.
Okay, so with me and Jesse do have a crossover because the last couple of episodes we've actually been pretty good. I don't remember the last time we had a proper crossover episode.
No, nor me. It might have been that. No, it doesn't count as a crossover when you just swooped in and took my Kurt Angle match, does it?
Still angry about that, aren't you?
I'm so fucking. Not a day goes by when I don't think about it and kick a lamb.
Kick a lamb. Justified. If me and Jesse do have a crossover, this is the drop that you're going to hear played.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Which
it's a solid drop.
We should just use for every single crossover, because it's how we react every single time. We're just like,
oh, son of a bitch!
It just works.
It is, yeah, you're right. It is. It sums up how I feel about you quite often.
Lovely. So I'm going to... So the fridge is in my eye line right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the top 5 intro drop. Gonna go get myself a beer and be back in time for it to finish. If it doesn't, Jesse, are you prepared to kick in with an introduction?
I will kick in with an introduction. I'm here
ready.
for you.
You ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Here it comes.
Race.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Are you ready? Oh, hell yeah! You fans can stick it, brother! Who's your daddy, Montreal?
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Me! Woo!
Wasn't even a challenge. Easy. I came in on Booker T. Still got time to enjoy the sick Ric Flair drop.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about wrestling.
All right. Who's going first? Me. Okay. I'm gonna start with one from WrestleMania 20. This is Trish Stratus turning on Chris Jericho.
This is in my
Christian
honourable mentions, but this is in your top 5, really.
Yeah, I just remember that. Like, it genuinely surprised me. It was a real shock when it happened. It was something I hadn't factored at any point happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember being shocked as well when it happened.
I thought it was great. And made Jericho look like a right old cuckold.
Hang on. Is this the only reason you put it in your list so you could use the term cuckold? It's Jesse's word of the day today.
It might be a reason. But it's a good reason as any. But no, genuinely, it was good. When you think, like, this is coming after... Do you remember at Armageddon? It was Jericho and Christian against Lita and Trish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? And that was a really surprising... For what it was, you know, telling its sort of soap opera story, it was a really good match. But the way Christian just, like, threw the women around was so dickish. You know, he played an amazing heel. And the fact that they very heavily alluded that Trish Stratus went with Christian because she sort of liked being knocked around like that.
Oh, I remember in commentary.
Yeah, exactly. And they just played it so well, I think. Trish did an amazing job as a heel in this run. It was just a fantastic turn, something I didn't expect. I thought Trish was going to be this babyface, like, you know, girl next door character for the rest of her career. And then she busts this out and does it so convincingly. And obviously I was a lot younger back then. And it just hit me in a very strange way.
In your downstairs never regions?
It may be. I think maybe seeing, you know, it's a shame that Christian was involved, but seeing Trish suck face that passionately.
Oh, that kiss. I remember 14-year-old me got very happy when I saw that kiss. And when she did the wipe of the lipstick, good God.
Yeah, exactly.
Good God.
Yeah, well, we were 14 when this happened, right? So I was like literally I was 13 because March the 14th was WrestleMania 20. It's pathetic that I know that. So I was 13 for another 3 days. And yeah, it was good stuff.
Memories. I can't believe you used a top 5 spot just to get the term cuckold in.
Cuckold. Me and Max were talking about cuckolds on Facebook earlier.
As you do.
As you do, just because I just think the word is quite funny, so I started using it a lot. And I Googled, I wanted to just send him something funny, so I Googled cuckold GIF. Do not Google cuckold GIF unless it's not like funny things don't come up. It's just it's very pornographic.
See, this is the service Jesse offers to the world. He searches the stuff so you don't have to.
Exactly. Cuckold GIF. No.
I have been tempted all day, but I won't. I'm going to leave it. My number 5 comes from sorry, I cleared my throat like I was going to say something important then, but I'm not. My number 5 comes from a very important time in my era of wrestling. It's when I was like properly getting invested and it was running through my veins. 2002, before SummerSlam, Triple H goes and ruins the DX reunion by pedigreeing Shawn Michaels.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Was that on yours?
This is only your number 5. This
Yeah,
is my number 3. This was.
Oh, okay. I feel like you're going to take some like low ones from me, so it's fine. It'll work out. We'll talk about this together then. Let's have a chat. This was quite important. No, I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk.
Oh, fuck it out. Well, you can't invite me in and then just yakety yak yak.
You get to like pepper in what I'm going to say. I haven't actually written many notes for this because they're just moments, and you remember moments. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? So
I never write notes ever.
I know you don't. You're such a goddamn professional, Jesse Benz. So Shawn Michaels comes back. Triple H and him are like, "Let's do a DX reunion." Like, yeah, man, that sounds sweet. That's how they talk in wrestling. And they come out to the ring.
And when they said let's do a DX reunion in 2002, it wasn't as pathetic as later years.
Yeah, Jesse's still bitter about 2006.
Fuck's sake.
This actually led to one of the best storylines of 2002. So they were like, let's reform DX. They got the t-shirts on. They cut off the sleeves because you got to show those guns off. Come out to the DX music. Do the crotch chopping of, suck it down there. And everyone's like,
suck it down there.
Suck it down there. Isn't that what you say to the people, ladies?
Suck it down there, love.
Suck it down. We talked to Elliott too long. So you're in the ring, and they're doing like the promo stuff, and Shawn's about to do his and if you're not down with that, and then Triple H delivers a pedigree, breaking the hearts of many 12-year-old boys across the English nation. And
only their hearts. And yes, it was it was really a real big shock at the time. And
it was.
Also the fact that Shawn Michaels was retired at this point, so we didn't sort of expect him to come. We didn't know he was going to come back for a match or a whole fucking second wave of an amazing career at this point. So the fact that happened, it was like, what's the point? Triple H is being a dick to someone who's got a broken back. Like, this is horrible.
Beating up your crippled friend, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Who does that? Slapping a guy in a wheelchair. But it happened, and we were all sad about it. And yeah, just genuinely out of nowhere. And as you say, led to a absolutely stunning SummerSlam match. And the second wave of Shawn Michaels' amazing career.
I was so invested because obviously the following week, Triple H comes out and he's like, the game has surpassed you, Shawn. I was carrying this company. And then it cuts to Shawn's been attacked backstage. Someone threw his head through like a limousine window. And it's all like, who done it kind of thing. And it was kind of cool storytelling from a WWE standpoint. They were like, oh, we're going to find out who did it. And Triple H was like the head investigator looking into this. And then Shawn comes on like via satellite a couple of weeks later, and then they do the crappy pixelated CCTV to reveal that it was Triple H who did it, and just Triple H is, "You're goddamn right, it was me, Shawn." Love it. I love soap opera wrestling, and I miss it so much.
Oh, it's brilliant. Well, my number 5, the cuckold storyline, was very much a soap opera storyline as well.
Yeah.
But this one as well, at the end of that SummerSlam match, I'm sure we've talked about it before, the really good-looking sledgehammer shots to Shawn Michaels.
Sure.
The Triple H just never did to anyone except his best friend.
Yeah.
He would always do the stupid ones when he'd hold the front of the sledgehammer with his own hand and hit people. That looks lame. But he did proper good sledgehammer shots to Shawn Michaels' back.
Well, he rarely targeted people's backs. Like, I think Shawn is the only person he's hit in the back with a sledgehammer because Shawn had a broken back. And you can kind of like graze someone's shoulder blades and it looks good, but you can't really... I wouldn't want someone to risk fake hitting me with a sledgehammer in the head.
No, fair play.
You know? So, yeah. But it is lame when he covers it up. Like, what are you doing? You put more power in your fist? What's the William Regal explanation for that?
yeah, we need you, Mr. Regal.
Tell us, please. And yeah, they had a great match at SummerSlam, as we've mentioned on our Top 5 SummerSlam Matches podcast. Go check it out. And yeah, it was great. And then Sean had a career that lasted another... When did he retire?
2010.
2010. Another 8 years.
Mania 26.
Of Sean. And
yeah, that's ridiculous. And only had one world title win in that whole second wave of his career.
But was in the main event world title chase for the whole 8 years.
Yeah. Survivor Series 2002, the Elimination Chamber, held it for a grand total of a month before losing it back to Triple H at Armageddon.
Oh, 2002, how we miss you.
Yeah, that's the same year that Hulk Hogan beat Triple H for the WWE title as well.
Yeah, I had that on VHS, Backlash 2002.
That's the one.
Yeah. Really weird story about that. So we'd come back from New York on holiday, and so this is how torturous my parents were. So we left on Christmas Eve, and I was allowed to open up some presents that had been sent to me by an auntie and uncle. I opened up and I was like, oh my god, Backlash on VHS, this is amazing. And then I'll always remember my parents being like, put it down, we've now got to go on holiday. And I did not want to go on that holiday, my friend. So for the whole...
Oh, no.
It was great. New York was fantastic, but in the back of my head, I was like, there's fucking Backlash waiting for me at home. Sitting there.
Oh.
I flew back home, jet lagged as fuck. Didn't know what jet lag was at the time. I popped in my VHS and started watching Backlash. Got to about the main event, and I was so jet lagged that I started kind of like... You know when you go into that half dream, half hallucinating state? I had like this dream I was like ringside watching this Hulk Hogan Triple H match. And then I imagined crazy stuff that just didn't happen in that match. Like
this
really
is weird,
stuff.
mate.
I know, right? I'm going like fourth dimension weirdness on this one. And I imagine...
It's weird that this would have happened when you were like 12 and you could still remember it really clearly.
That's how vivid these hallucinations were.
You're weird.
You're weird.
I like how like you're so angry at your parents for taking you on holiday from New York to New York. Like how abusive of them.
Bitch, I had Backlash to watch.
That reminds me of I know I've told you before when Gold and Silver, the Pokemon games, came out, and it was just like the hottest thing in the fucking world, and I managed to get it the day it came out, except I'd left my Game Boy on holiday in France, so I had the game but I didn't have the Game Boy, and back then it took like 7 to 10 days to get somewhere posted back to England, and that was just torturous. I was so desperate to play Gold and Silver and just couldn't. I must have read that instruction manual thousands of times.
Right. Our privileged white upbringing has been hell.
I know. We just discussed the worst moments of our lives, and yours involves a holiday to New York, and mine involves
a trip to the
visiting
south
my
of
grandparents
France.
in the south of France. Yeah,
well, I could not play my Pokemon game. Oh, and everyone stopped listening. All right, what's your number 4?
Well, talking of fantastic storytelling, I think this is some of the best storytelling WWE. I nearly said WWE have done in recent years, but it's not recent years. We're just fucking old. But my number 4 is Batista turning on Evolution.
Oh, I was ready to press the drop button. Okay.
So this was in 2005, just after Batista won the Royal Rumble. And just the whole... Triple H and Batista have been interviewed, and they said that when they knew that Batista was going to be a big thing, Vince McMahon, in true Vince McMahon fashion, wanted to spunk his load straight away and just said, let's have the match now, let's do it now. And Triple H was like, no, we need to, this could be great if
can't put it down.
But, if we pace this correctly, we could do a beautiful slow build and some really good storytelling, like what happens in NXT now. And that's exactly what Batista and Triple H did. Just these subtle things, like these backstage bits when Batista was still with Evolution and everything, but just these little looks that he'd give Triple H when Triple H would say something, or the way that Batista would react, was just planting these tiny little seeds that Batista wasn't happy, and maybe he was realising there was something going on here. And it all culminated to Batista having the contract and Triple H saying, you should sign to challenge for the SmackDown title. Then you'll go to SmackDown. I'll stay here as world champion. We can take over WWE. Banging.
I watched it earlier. It was a fucking 10-minute promo that Triple H cut trying to convince Batista to challenge for SmackDown. It was long.
That's possibly the shortest promo Triple H has ever done as well.
It's true.
But so it happens, and then Batista finally, echoing when they kicked Randy Orton out of Evolution, does the down thumbs, and Batista bombs Triple H, and leads up to the match wasn't anything special, Triple H Batista at Mania, but the build, I thought, based on this and the way they slowly, but Batista had like acting chops back then. Do you know what I mean? It's no surprise to me that he's had the career he's had, because like the way he, as I said, the way he acted in these promos and backstage vignettes and stuff, he was really good, and just the subtleties of it that you don't see in wrestling all that much, with the exception of NXT, as I said, was phenomenal and led to the money. WrestleMania 21, it's been surpassed since, obviously, but WrestleMania 21 was the highest grossing WrestleMania at that time. And I think it's purely because people wanted to see Triple H Batista because the story had been so good.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It was definitely better than the JBL John Cena of the evening, that's for sure. So you put it in that standard, it's like a 5-star classic. But I loved that moment when he's got the Raw and the SmackDown contract, and Triple H and Ric Flair are just thumbs up, and they're like, yeah, do it. And Batista goes, I know what I'm going to do for a long time. And he throws the Raw contract down, and Bischoff in the back starts like slamming the table, like, God damn it, I've lost him. And just a slow turn down of the thumbs. Because when he throws the Raw contract down, this is how you know you've got a good betrayal or a good turn. You can hear a guy in the crowd going, no, no, no. He's that passionate about it. And then when Batista turns the thumbs down, the crowd just absolutely lose it. And they're so happy. And then it's great. You so rarely have Batista had become a firm fan favourite whilst being a heel as Triple H's lackey. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's incredible that they achieved that, and obviously turned him into a massive star after that. But yeah, just so good. And there was the first ever New Year's Revolution. Yes. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Where they had an elimination chamber, which was that's right. Which was a couple of weeks before the Royal Rumble, and Batista, Randy Orton, who was out of Evolution at that point, and Triple H were all in that elimination chamber. And even the subtle storytelling in that, as Batista, thinking twice, and it was his hesitation that got him eliminated from that match. He was about to sort of capitalise on Triple H when he could. Then he didn't, got hit with an RKO and eliminated. And that was because he hesitated, and he could have been world champion that night if he'd followed his heart. It's so well done. It was really, really good. Really good time. Definitely. Because obviously we grew up watching Evolution, and they were such a great faction as a team. People talk about, watching NWO and DX and all those kind of great Fat Four Horsemen and stuff. And then you don't really appreciate at the time how great Evolution were, and just how kind of influential they were during that time period. I love Evolution so much. And yeah, I agree. The setup of it is great, and it worked, didn't it? I mean, Triple H stayed on top when that faction was around, which was the job of it. Ric Flair became relevant to a whole new generation of wrestling fans, when I don't think he necessarily would have done without Evolution. And Randy Orton and Batista became huge stars, both of which are huge stars. Batista not in wrestling anymore, but they're still both the huge stars in their industries. Batista's still a Hall of Famer, taking away his Hollywood career. He's still a bona fide Hall of Famer, no matter what. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Good choice. Was that my choice or your choice? My choice. That was my choice, you son of a bitch. Well, yeah. Son of a bitch. JR. There was a free one. A bonus drop. Boom. Alright, what's your number 4? 3? What are we doing? What happened? What are you on about? I just did my number 4, so do your number 3. Hang on. No. We've gone wrong here somewhere. Oh, we haven't? No, because I haven't done my number 4 yet, so... Oh, so do your number. Yeah, I started, then you did yours, then I did mine, now you do yours. You're on 4, go. So, no, hang on, so who picked... Oh, wait, never mind, that wasn't a crossover. Fuck, I'm really confused. What's going on? That took a minute. That's a bit embarrassing. Family's falling apart, man. Got till 5's gone to shit. We've literally never got confused about this before. You know what, guys? Just turn off and go listen to Game Till 5. We're over a year in. Yeah, go listen to Game Till 5. They're snaking up on us, aren't they? They're new and professional, actually care about what they're doing. Yeah, Steph has her posh phone voice on in the first episode. It's brilliant.
Exactly. Are you trying to say Nikki's common?
No, Steph is very much you, and Nikki is me of the Game Till 5, I think, when you listen to them.
You have no idea how similar. No idea. My number 4 is probably...
It's like... Sorry, just before you say. It's like the Steph and Nikki on Game Till 5. It's like those episodes of Adventure Time with Fiona and Cake. That's how I'm viewing Game Till 5.
Oh my god, that's perfect. That is exactly how it is. I love it. My number 4 is probably one of the hottest feuds of the past year, 2 years. I don't actually remember how long it's been going for now. But it's from the lovely land of NXT. Ciampa betrays Gargano, and again, breaks everyone's heart.
Yes, this is a good one. And I think I've said... I know I've told you. I can't remember if I've said it on here or not. I didn't actually know this happened until about a week after.
Yes.
Because I watched the takeover, but once Authors of Pain won that match, I just turned it off. So I was like, that's the end of the show. Just turned it off and went to bed or whatever. So I had no idea that Ciampa had turned on Gargano for the longest time, and everyone was freaking out, like about you see like threads on thing, and it's like no spoilers, but did you see what? And I was like, well, it was a good show, but nothing crazy. What are they talking about? And then I obviously find out later, and I'm quite embarrassed.
The biggest heel at any NXT takeover is the copyright symbol that comes up at the end of the show.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to Gargano and Ciampa, because it comes up, and you're like, oh, end of the show, and then something happens afterwards. It
worked on me.
Yeah, worked a treat. So they had the grueling match against AOP in Chicago. Gargano and Ciampa walk up the ramp. They made their commentary did a great job of this. The crowd are like standing ovation, and the commentary is saying they made their name here in Chicago. They're hugging on the entrance ramp, and it's a really tender moment. It's really quite sweet. And then you just see Ciampa mouth to Gargano, "This isn't your moment. This is my moment." And he takes him by the back of the head and throws him into the Titantron. And again, the crowd, I think in unison, go, "No!"
I think that's the exact noise all 13,000 people made in that arena that night.
100%. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It's a case of Ciampa and Gargano, especially for me, from my standpoint, I was like, they make me like believe in wrestling from a WWE standpoint again. I just loved watching them, and they were so good at the tag team. You know how much of a tag team guy I am, and I was like, I've got my 2 perfect guys together, and then for that bold bastard to do that to my sweet prince, I'll never forgive him. And
Chicago was a perfect place to do it as well.
Everything was perfect, and this feud is still going on, and I'm still invested. It's been going on for like 2 years.
It's still going on, but they're both heel now. It's strange the way the way it's gone, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant storytelling. I absolutely love it, the way they've kind of been doing it. That Gargano can't beat Ciampa, and he if you can't beat him, you join him, or if you live long enough to become the villain, whatever moniker you want to use. And yeah, it's just fantastic. I loved it, and every single match that they had, you knew they were going to have good chemistry, because if you've ever watched a Cruiserweight Classic, when they faced each other, that match is probably one of my favourite matches. It's very short, but it's one of my favourites just for the storytelling aspect. And then every match they did at TakeOver after that, okay, it was some kind of like variation of an Extreme Rules match, but every single one was damn entertaining. And yeah, when we're going to do our top 5 matches of the year, a lot of them are going to be Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah, I think so. You could almost make a full top 5 on them, couldn't you? Every match has been great.
Well, Gargano's had 2 Meltzer-rated top 5 matches this year?
I believe so.
And the rest have all been about 4.75. So the guy's a goddamn workhorse. And Ciampa, the heel heat he's managed to garner off this feud, he had 4 months where he came out with no entrance music. And the smarky NXT fans still booed him like he was the devil himself walking out.
It was perfect. Well, his music was the fans chanting, "Fuck you, Ciampa."
Yeah.
That was his entrance music.
But how they kept that going for that long in that smarky environment is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you think that Ciampa looks like Yellow Bastard from
Oh my
Sin
god,
City?
he totally does.
Yeah, right. They're like twins.
I love the way your brain makes connections, mate. It's honestly the most beautiful thing about you. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
So I want Ciampa and Gargano to stay in NXT forever. Just forever.
Yes. Yeah, me too. They're very much... Sami Zayn was NXT to me. Once Sami Zayn went up, I felt a bit lost. Ciampa and Gargano have become NXT to me now. They're just they're amazing.
Yeah, and it was such a perfect moment, and the storyline made sense, and it continued to make sense. And even when they started to do like some risque shit, as you said, with Gargano eventually turning heel and stuff. Basically, I've read some NXT tapings today, and it goes even further into the future. And the fact that they're keeping it going is just mind-boggling, and I'm quite okay with it.
Yes, fantastic. It's gonna. I don't know when it will culminate, but I'm hoping it will culminate the night before Mania. I really think something incredible is going to happen that night.
I don't know where they can go though. If they're both like heel and they both maybe tag up again in the future, like where'd you go from that?
But Gargano's heel as a result of a bit of a mental breakdown because Ciampa's got the better of him so many times. And I think Gargano can come back as a very strong face from that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon they could do almost, remember Daniel Bryan with the Wyatt family?
Yeah, kind of.
So the brainwashed and then the snap.
Yeah, and we've got Candice LeRae who can come in and sort of get Gargano back to babyface. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's options.
See, this is what wrestling should. This should like to get you disinvested in storylines where you start like second guessing stuff, like it's a TV show like Lost or something.
We haven't had a proper conversation like that in years, have we? No. Because wrestling hasn't been good enough, or a storyline hasn't been good enough. But yeah, we can do it with Gargano and Ciampa. Easy, it's nice.
Yeah, you can theorize until you're horse in the throat. Is that a saying? I feel like that's a saying.
It's not. You don't want a horse in your throat, mate.
You got a horse in. So that's my number 4. I regret making that gagging noise. I might take that out.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yep.
Tell people about the giraffe I sent you earlier.
Oh yeah. Jesse sent me a giraffe that performed oral pleasure on a fence pole, and it's graphic. It's graphic. In fact, I might just get him to post it later on the Twitter just so you can all experience. No caption, no context to it. You're just going to watch this giraffe satisfy a pole.
I don't even know how I came across it, to be honest.
Yes, you do. You seeked that out.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, giraffedeepthroat.com.
Don't Google it.
No, God, no. Giraffe cuckold. So... Very good. So you took my number 3, you son of a bitch. So do you want to do your number 3 now, and then we'll be back on track?
Unless I take like a number of yours.
Well, then I'll be livid.
Okay. My number 3 is Seth Rollins is Plan B, Raw, June 2nd, 2014.
Yeah, all good. Continue.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. This is probably one of the most future iconic moments of the past this era of wrestling. So Seth Rollins with his brothers in arms, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, swings a chair into the back of Seth Rollins. And again, you know you got a good betrayal on your hands. When he goes to swing that chair, you just hear one single person go, "No."
How do they go?
"No."
That's good. Yeah, that should be a drop.
No. Yeah. So
is that your cum noise?
That is actually. No. It's only been a minute.
Do you know what mine is?
What's yours?
Sorry.
For England. That giraffe. Anyway, so the build-up of this was Evolution versus The Shield, if I remember correctly. I haven't really looked this up, in all honesty. I probably should have.
Yeah, it's so iconic to you. Yes, it was. It's not even in my top 5. Yes, it was Shield versus Evolution. Shield had an elimination match with Evolution and won without a single Shield member being eliminated.
Mental.
How mental is that?
Mental.
That booking's incredible.
It is. And then the next night, Triple H comes out. Got a nasty shiner on his left eye as well, which I always thought was quite cool. Comes out with the sledgehammer.
Yeah, adds to the badassery.
Yeah, Randy Orton's to his side. I think Batista quit earlier in the night, and probably my favourite quitting moment ever, where he goes, "I quit," and he just stands there and waves like the Queen in the middle of the ring.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it so much. So later on in the night, the Shield are in the ring celebrating, and then Triple H and Randy come out. Triple H got the sledgehammer over his shoulder, and he's like, "There's always Plan B." And everyone's like, "Oh, it's the sledgehammer. Is it going to happen?" And then Shield start walking ready for a fight, and then Seth swings that chair and breaks the heart of many a man in that arena, including myself.
He does.
And then wails on Dean Ambrose for an uncomfortable amount of time. Really long time. He loves it. He really did enjoy it. And then Randy comes in and he wails on Roman and he undresses him. Gets not even joking, he does. He takes off his shirt. It's uncomfortable, guys. Wails on him a bit more.
Starts unzipping himself.
Camera zooms in. Gets really uncomfortable. Sorry, I got really into that then. Seth does a...
Batista's watching backstage like a cuckold.
And that's free. So, and I forget, Seth Rollins does a curb stomp to Dean on the chair, and Randy does an RKO to Roman on the chair. WE very rarely successfully hits their head on either chair or championship belt. No one ever hits it properly. I remember Eddie Guerrero and Brock kind of came close, but not really.
I was just about to say that that is the first thing that popped into my head when you just said that. Yeah, Eddie and Brock at No Way Out 2004, and it's such a shame because it's such a perfect match. Other than the fact that they just missed the belt with that DDT.
Yeah, no one ever gets their timing right. Whoever gets their timing right in that kind of spot is the greatest wrestler in the world to me. Challenge put out there for you all. And then Triple H comes in the ring, he puts his arm around Seth, and I think Seth's got a bit of acting chops as well. He was kind of like conflicted inside. You could see it in his eyes. It was beautiful. And then Triple H just moused to the camera, "I win." And I was like, that's a nice little touch as well. Good fucking job.
Yeah, no, it was great. And Seth, as you say, Seth did go on to prove that he was this incredible character. And, he wins Money in the Bank. He cashes it in at Mania 31 and becomes this real sort of snivelling heel as WWE champion. But he was fantastic at it. And everyone was saying, everyone obviously loved the Shield, but they always said that Seth Rollins seemed like a great athletic wrestler, but didn't really have the chops to promo or be a star. And fuck me, did he prove them wrong. He's incredible.
Yeah, 100%. He had one of the best kind of like modern WWE Championship runs I can remember, where you wanted to kind of tune in and see that something happen to the heel. I can't remember a time that has happened recently where I want the heel to kind of like get his comeuppance.
I just thought the booking of Mania 31, I was so excited when that show ended because it was just done so well. And the booking of that is some of the best booking WWE have done in ages. I mean, they fucked it all up, obviously. But at the time, you think, so he lost to Randy Orton, Seth lost to Randy Orton earlier that night. He cashes in on Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So Brock never lost. It was Roman that was pinned, so Brock never lost the title. Roman didn't get his fair shot at the title. You got Randy, who won against the now WWE champion earlier in the night. The amount of avenues they had their whole year booked just from that WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just all these opponents that had a decent reason to fight Seth Rollins, and Seth being an absolutely beatable champion as well. And beatable champions are always so much more fun to watch than your Brock Lesnar's or whatever, who just feel like monsters and win all the time. You want a champion that it feels like he could lose at any second.
Yeah, definitely. I loved that WrestleMania. I don't know if it was because we all watched it together, and as you say, we were so hyped afterwards and in such a great mood throughout the whole evening. I don't know what it was, but that WrestleMania, it's got a special place in my heart. Top 5, definitely.
Yeah, it's weird, and there's no like 5-star incredible match on that WrestleMania or anything. It's just the pacing of it and the way they did it was just great.
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And fantastic. And as we mentioned, they made a star out of Rollins, and I do miss shit-eating Rollins with his laugh. The laugh is something that will just stick with me forever. And yeah, it's a little disappointing we've got face Rollins at the moment, because I do want to go back to that eventually.
I'm sure he will one day.
One day. Lovely. So what are we on then? Your number 2, is it?
Yes, my number 2, because you took my Number 3, you bitch. Number 2, so this one, you'll see why. I think when you see my last 2, you'll see why I couldn't squeeze this Shield in. This is, I think I'm allowed this one. This is Vince McMahon turns on Bret Hart at Survivor Series 1997, also known as the Montreal Screwjob. So
this is interesting. I didn't even consider this.
Right? So, because it's real life. So, but it's still it's absolutely a betrayal, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, and just obviously iconic moment. The fact that it's real, it actually happened, is just mental. Like you try and have you ever tried to explain the Montreal Screwjob to someone who's not that interested?
No, it's impossible. I've tried.
It is absolutely impossible. I've tried to do it a couple of times, and explaining what bits are real and what bits aren't, and it's just so difficult to do. And it's like, but it's just an incredible story. You know, you obviously watch Wrestling with Shadows, the Bret Hart documentary, and that covers it very, very well. It's, just, you can't beat, with the exception of my number 1, you cannot beat this betrayal for how iconic it was, how it changed the business, and completely ruined Bret Hart's career. You know, he didn't have much luck in WCW, and this was his parting WWE match. You know, it's not good.
It's not good. That's one way to describe it.
Not good for the Hitman. But and also it's cool because like the internet was in its infancy at the time, but you can still, wrestling forums did still exist in 1997 and you can go back through various websites and sort of look at these antique forums and see what people thought and stuff. And there was less insider stuff flying around. You know, you had to have a proper subscription to Meltzer back then. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant reading all these early internet posts of people having no idea what the fuck happened. It's great. It's like the birth of internet smarks getting worked and freaking out.
I can't even imagine that like happening, like being in that time and it happening with not direct access to like Reddit or any kind of forum, and this happens in the middle of the match and Brett spelling out WCW. It's insane to even like comprehend.
Yeah. Gobs in Vince McMahon's face with amazing aim.
Oh, it was beautiful, wasn't it? And it was a good thick one. Like, obviously he was kind of cottonmouth from the match, which really added to it. But yeah, right in the eye.
Yeah, it must be a Hart thing because do you remember WrestleMania 10 after Owen and Bret have their opening match? They interview Owen backstage and he's got a massive bit of gob on his face and all that's come out of his mouth. Yeah. And it takes away half a star of that match for me.
Just staring at it. Look at it. It's hanging there.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, excellent choice. And yeah, well done, Jesse. You've surprised me.
There you go. See that? Can you hear that?
I don't know. Want to ask what that is?
That's me clicking my fingers together. You know, like Ali G, like because I'm all happy.
I see. Got you. Okay. My number 2 is I'm kind of worried is your number 1. But I feel like... Gross. But I feel like you wouldn't have mentioned Batista, because I would like to say that Randy Orton getting kicked out of Evolution on August 16th, 2004 is the second best betrayal.
Okay. No, it's not my number 1, so this is good news. I do like it very much, but it's not in my top 5 because I didn't want it to happen so much. I wasn't... Randy Orton obviously won the World Heavyweight title from Chris Benoit at SummerSlam 2004. Redacted. And Chris Benoit was, and still is, my favourite in-ring wrestler. But Randy Orton was very quickly becoming certainly my favourite heel. I thought he was fantastic in the first half of 2004 with his Intercontinental run and stuff. Really, really good. And so when he won the world title, I was like, shit, that sucks that Benoit's lost it. But at least we've got this. Sort of cool heel that isn't Triple H to hold the world title, and that all went tits up the night after because of this.
It's true. I think what kind of resonates with me was kind of how shocking it was. Evolution was a unit, and obviously when I was watching, I wasn't like into, let's see where they go with this storyline. It was kind of a case where I just used to watch it. And then when they were all celebrating, I was like, yeah, look at his buddies there, being all supportive, wishing him well. I mean, that's sweet. And then when he gets him up on his shoulders, and you're like, oh, this is a nice moment. I'm going to remember this forever. And then Triple H just does the thumbs down. Batista drops him. And I'm fairly certain if you watch back the video, he like headbutts him in the nards.
It's a brutal electric chair drop. It's a real brutal
Randy
one.
goes into that position of, I've just been kicked in the nuts. That's the position he assumes.
We all know that. We all know that position.
Every male listening, you know the position I'm talking about, even if you haven't seen this moment. And yeah, and it's an uncomfortably long beatdown.
Yeah,
it goes on.
It does go on a while.
Yeah, a little bit too long, which is why, in retrospect, I kind of like it. It's like recently with Charlotte on Ronda. I was a bit like, oh, shit, that they made us a no DQ. 10 minutes into the beatdown, I went, yeah, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. No, it was good. And there's a good bit. You can see Triple H blades Randy Orton as well.
And something I noticed from earlier, you can actually see the blade on the mat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a bit where Randy's kind of lying over and they kind of zoom in on him. And right next to Ric Flair's foot is the razor blade.
Oh, that's interesting. To be fair, I think razor blades just fall out of Ric Flair wherever he goes anyway. So that might be where that came from.
Tears and razor blades. That's going to be the rap tribute album to Ric Flair when he passes away.
The Ric Flair drip, or whatever it's called.
Drip. Oh, bless him. So, yeah, I just thought it was such a cool moment. And as you said with your number 5 with Trish and Christian and Jericho, it just took me completely by surprise. Evolution was a unit. They'd been around for the past, 2 years at this point, and they just dominated Raw. So I just didn't see this coming. In my head, when I was watching it, I was like, cool, they've got the Raw title still in Evolution. You know, they can just continue dominating. It's fine. But no, should have known. Well, this is, when I was talking about the Batista Triple H and how Vince just wanted to spunk the storyline straight away. And I feel like this is why Triple H said, no, let's long it out. Because this was all over so quickly, wasn't it? This Randy Orton. I mean, next pay-per-view, Triple H just wins the title back from Randy Orton, and that's it, really. And it was too quick. They could have longed this out and made it an epic story by not doing the betrayal the night after Randy wins the title, to long it out and just tell a good story, but they didn't. Yeah, and obviously he loses the title. It was a month later, wasn't it? 3 weeks, yes. I think it works out, and it's, that kind of kills the momentum of Randy. Yeah, exactly. Because they said he couldn't cope, didn't they, with that amount of fame, that young and quick. And so he started pooing in Divas handbags and stuff. Oh, classic Randy. How we missed him. As he wants to do. And touching his willy and shaking hands with people, which is fine. I mean, we all do it. The only difference is that he let you know he was doing it. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to finish that sentence. When you go to say something and you see the recording flashing, you're like, yeah, fuck it, it's not worth it. Yes, it's worse for me, mate. At least you're the one that edits this podcast. I say something and I think, oh no, that's gone. That's there forever now. He's gonna leave that in there. There's nothing I can do about that. Yeah, exactly. Because I can't ask you to take it out because I just know you won't. And it makes you look weak. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would never ask you to take anything out, even my racial tirades. I do take those out. Benoit hunting children on roundabouts. I leave that in. Swings and roundabouts. Sorry, it's double leveled. It's okay. Double layered. Sorry. Yeah. What's your number 1 then, mate? My number 1. I can see why this probably isn't in your top 5 because you're not a fan of these things. But it's the biggest betrayal of all time. It's Hulk Hogan turns on the entire fucking universe and joins the NWO at Bash of the Beach 1996 WCW. I thought this would be your number 1. It is my number 1. I know. so you guessed right. Good. We're all friends. Excellent. So this what hasn't been said about this? This is the biggest betrayal. This made WCW into a WWF battering company. This one move. And I can still watch it now. I love it. I love watching it now, knowing that, that what's going to happen, because you watch Hogan come out and it's like, oh, Hogan's here to save the day. Right on. And Hogan's walking down the ramp and you can see it in his eyes. When you watch it back, in his eyes, and he's thinking, am I about to make the biggest...
am I about to kill my career? You know, there was no evidence to suggest that this heel turn was going to work. He must have been thinking, this might be the end of me as a professional wrestler. You know, people are just not going to take it seriously. And this leg drop on Randy Savage could be disastrous. And he does it. And Hulk Hogan, I think, then does one of the greatest promos in wrestling history with Mean Gene in the ring, everyone throwing garbage at the ring. Hogan just does an incredible job. And I think it comes because Hogan had been getting booed a lot because people were bored of Hulk Hogan. You know, sort of John Cena syndrome, or Roman Reigns even syndrome, just bored of the same old shit. Just booing him and booing him and booing him. And it was obvious that that's what was happening. So I think Hogan turning heel here and the way he speaks on the mic comes from a very real place when he's saying about, you know, these fans can stick it, brother, and all that stuff is exactly how he felt. And it just comes across beautifully. And obviously the NWO we all know about it. It's iconic. And this was the start of it. And yeah, I think as much as we could laugh at Hulk Hogan or hate Hulk Hogan for various things, you cannot fault the man. On this night, if nothing else, he did an absolutely incredible job.
It's one of the most iconic moments in wrestling. There's no arguing with that. Even if he didn't understand what stable he was joining and getting the name wrong, it was still an enjoyable...
But the name didn't... So he said the New World Organization, I believe. He just misremembered. That's fine. He's an old man.
It's fine. No, it is iconic, and no one can doubt the importance it had on wrestling history in general. I love talking about wrestling history like it's important.
It's important to me.
But no, and then commentary as well, selling it like an absolute dream. I told you from the get-go.
Oh, it was great. So that story, that Bobby Heenan from, like, you know, his WWF days had been saying that Hulk Hogan, you know, there's that Hulk Hogan can't be this good guy. There's got to be, you know, something under the surface. I reckon. I don't think he's a good guy at all. Bobby Heenan had been saying that for years, you know, transcending companies. And he was finally able to say, I told you
I
so.
think that's my
incredible.
favourite moment of it. That's my favourite moment of that whole turn is just Bobby Heenan. It just makes it so good.
It's great. And you think, and you go back and the way they did the storyline, that Hulk Hogan had been sort of behind the scenes heel or still with the WWF, because that was sort of the idea of the NWO storyline at first. For years, you know, so he'd been with WCW for a few years at this point, and the idea was that he'd always been. So all these babyface storylines he did in WCW, he was actually like this WWF bastard deep down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
It's great.
Iconic. I'm glad you picked that, because for my number one, I've also gone for an iconic betrayal, and I was wondering if we were going to have the same one. Happened January 12th, 1992. Marty Jannetty jumps through a window.
The barbershop. So this is in many ways, this is the definitive definitive turning on your partner, at least, isn't it?
I feel like this had to be mentioned by one of us.
Yes.
It had to kind of be said. I didn't really know, kind of, like, I was doing the research on this, and I didn't really understand the background of all of this and how deep it kind of goes. This wasn't just a segment. This had been kind of broiling from real-life situations that have been going on. Michael's talked about in his book where Jannetty claimed WCW were willing to give them a really high paycheck, and they phoned Vince McMahon and were like, you know, WC's offering us this, you know, give us all this money or we're just going to quit. And Vince goes, all right then, you're fired. And I feel like this was round about Michael's bastard days. Michaels was very surprised by this, and he went to Vince McMahon and said, you know, this was all Jannetty's idea. I had no idea he was going to phone you and say all of this stuff. You know, I don't want to leave the WF. I love you guys. And they decided to, like, bring them back on and keep them, and, like, Michaels would turn heel. And then there was, like, other stuff going on where Roddy Piper instigated a fight between them when they were drunk. Where Piper and the two of them were drunk, and Piper kept saying, like, Michaels has a great future in the business. Michaels is all the talent in the tag team, which he was correct in saying. And it turns out that
that's not fair.
Michael, fuck off. Michael's is all the talent.
No, people misremember Marty Jannetty because people say, "Oh, so and so's the Marty Jannetty of that tag team." That doesn't mean that that Marty Jannetty wasn't talented. Marty Jannetty was a very good wrestler. He just didn't have any success.
Marty Jannetty was a good wrestler, but Shawn Michaels was a great wrestler.
Yes, obviously Shawn Michaels is a much better wrestler and one of the best wrestlers of all time. But to say Marty Jannetty was not talented is completely deluded.
I won't say he's not talented, but Michaels was so much more.
Yes,
him.
okay.
So they got into a fight. Piper pulled the two apart. Michaels passed out. Didn't regain consciousness till the next day. The police were called and arrested Jannetty, and it took Randy Savage to step in to say
obviously
that it's a storyline, even though he had no idea what the cause of the fight was in the first place. He just said, "Oh, it's a storyline we're doing for wrestling." And this Michaels almost actually left the company due to this. And then the Rockers, the WF decided we need to break up the Rockers, which is when the infamous barbershop. Any fan of wrestling who's listening to this, but anyone who, I know there's a fair few of you who don't know the history of wrestling. There was a I can never pronounce his name right, and I've had a few drinks. Brutus Beefcake, Barber Brutus Beefcake.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Fucking hell, that's exhausting. He had a barbershop where it was like an interview segment, and they talk through their issues that they were having, and they Marty said, "I'll turn my back, and if you want to leave the Rockers, you can leave the Rockers." And then Michaels turned around, shook his hand, gave him a hug, and it's like, "Oh, we're going to be fine, we're going to be fine." By the way, Shawn Michaels had that weird, when wrestlers debut in their first couple of years, and they've got that weird, "I've been doing bridges for all of my life" neck. It's weird to look at.
The redacted neck.
Yeah, the redacted neck. Dolph Ziggler, when he debuted, had this neck.
Yeah.
It's horrible to look at. And then Shawn's like, we're fine. But then he super kicks him, throws him through the plate glass window, and the greatest commentary of all time, which still gets referenced to this day, Marty Jannetty the coward tried to run through the window to escape. It's brilliant. And Marty bladed, which was kind of unheard of at the time, back in 1991.
Yeah, certainly. This is very much the cartoon era of Raw as well. So I don't think Vince was happy with that. Vince didn't want blood on his show at this time.
No, and it was just kind of kept going from there. And the thing is, Jannetty kind of screwed himself in this regard, because this would have led to a massive Michaels-Jannetty feud, obviously, because it was the Rockers that were breaking up. Huge tag team at the time. But Jannetty was arrested and put under house arrest because he had possession of cocaine, drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest. And this is when Shawn started to develop the Heartbreak Kid, do stuff with Sherry. And then by the time Marty came back, the momentum was pretty much gone. And Shawn had already, risen to where he needed to rise to.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. So don't do drugs, kids. Even though I'm fair, slanderous as this is, it was probably Michaels that got Jannetty into the drugs in the first place. Fight me, Michaels.
Don't try and bang your daughter either.
What?
Do you remember when Marty Jannetty got in trouble about a year or two ago for trying to bang his daughter?
I do.
Do you remember that?
Context? Yeah, I do. I just try to remember the context of that. Was it his stepdaughter or?
No. So he was. Nope. So he was put in contact. He never met her before. So he was reconnected with his now adult daughter, who he never met, and found her very attractive. So he took to social media to ask his fans if, because he hadn't raised her and they'd had nothing to do with each other, is it okay to bang her?
Such a Jesse Benz-esque tweet.
How dare you? But yes,
come on, guys, vote on the poll. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Where we are?
I like that Marty. He asked his own personal Marty Jannetty Milky Way universe, and they all responded in kind with no.
Guys, if you stay tuned for the next 18 years, those are the kind of questions you'll be getting from us. Enjoy. Stick around. You're for a ride.
Be good. Have you heard the story of when the Rockers were first fired from WE? So they were fired and then brought back in the very early days. This is in Shawn's book as well. So they get called to Vince's office. They're both there and sort of in the queue of people talking to Vince. And then Vince comes out, looks at Shawn, who's wearing these cowboy boots, And Vince goes, nice boots, pal. Those boots were made for walking. Just kidding, come in. And then just takes him into the office and fires him.
Oh, Vinnie Mac, never change. Never change.
I just thought that was brilliant. Just the way Sean tells it as well. He's like, yeah, those boots were made for walking. Just kidding.
You get it. You're fine. You're fine. Oh, I love it. So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of like one of the most iconic and what started the betrayal thing going on. So it had to be mentioned as like the number one. But
very good.
We've got a we haven't heard from him in a while. We've kind of I think it's been a good like 2 months of us ignoring the Got Till 5 Milky Way universe.
We haven't asked him Jack, have we?
Do not give a shit what people think. In fact, I haven't refreshed this in a while. Have we got any more? Yeah, a couple more. Let's pretend they didn't come in.
You snooze, you lose, bitches. Or we just never ask you.
Oh, it's fine. It's Flair Betray Sting again.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be there a lot.
So, yeah. We got a lot of messages. We're not going to read all of them because we've got stuff to do. I haven't eaten this evening.
We do appreciate them, though.
We do, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Cheers for...
Thanks for... Yeah, we really do. The Milky Way universe is strong, and we love you lot so much.
Do you remember us when we started this podcast, like, begging people to talk to us?
Begging, we'd get like one response, and we'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna read like the whole thing." And yeah, no.
So the top
pride
thing...
comes before a fall.
Exactly. The top thing people talk about is
careful.
Ciampa and Gargano, because wrestling fans have memories of a fish. The next one, Gedo turning on Okada. This person says, "I fucking wanted Gedo double dead when he betrayed Okada."
Yeah, especially for the fact that it was Jay White that he sided with. Out of all the people to side with, you side with a kid that looks like I could have bullied him at school.
Right.
Yeah.
Gedo.
Stupid Gedo.
Stupid Gedo. Oh, it was the worst chair shot ever. It was like Gedo didn't want to do it. He was so torn about doing it. Oh, it's heartbreaking. Yeah, we'll see what happens at Wrestle Kingdom. Are we?
I like that when Gedo occasionally wrestles, like in he wrestles in the Super Juniors, doesn't he, and things. I like that his finisher is basically interesting pins. Yes. He just does like interesting roll-ups, doesn't he? That's how he finishes matches.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah, it's great. I like it.
Are we watching Wrestle Kingdom together this year?
If you can make it down.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
We can sort that out.
Nice. Making plans. The next one is Stone Cold shaking hands with Satan himself. This was in my honourable mentions. We've debated this many times on the podcast, but I think it's important.
I think it was stupid.
Yeah, we know. I'm going to skip the ones that we've read. Owens betraying Jericho. This is my number 6, by the way. My number 6. Because I really wanted to put it in there, but it led to such a disappointing feud and WrestleMania blow-off match. Are we good? No.
Yeah. No, it did, but...
The Festival of Friendship
moment was incredible.
Is one of my favourite moments of the past, 10 years. It's incredible.
Yes, I completely agree.
When Jericho takes out the new list, and the whole segment is just fucking magic. And he pulls out the list, and he goes, "Why is my name on here?" And then reveals it says the list of KO. Oh, yeah. Jericho, you broke my heart there. And not Cole. Cole would make a Cool of the Year. Corey made a Cool of the Year. There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Jericho and Owens being best friends, and one of those things doesn't exist anymore. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So good. What else we got? Hulk Hogan betraying Sid Justice. Fuck off. Owen Hart kicking Bret's leg out of... Yeah, Owen Hart betraying Bret, and then he does the promo where he's like, "I kicked his leg out of his leg."
There was, yeah. Jumping back, sorry, I know you just skirted over it, but Sid Justice and Hulk Hogan, just before they fall out, because the whole lead up to their match was them being begrudgingly mates, even though, Justice was doing well and Hogan was the champ. There's a really funny bit, and I can't remember what show it's on now, but I watched it on the network, and after they've won a tag team match together or something, Hulk Hogan is doing his posing in the ring, and he gets Sid Justice to join him, and Sid Justice is doing that "Oh no, I can't, oh god," and so then he gets in and he's doing the posing with Hulk Hogan, and then whilst he's doing it, Hulk Hogan just rips Sid Vicious's shirt off of him, and it's just really homoerotic and weird.
Oh, wrestling never gets old. Matt Hardy burning down Jeff Hardy's trailer and killing his dog. Out of context, that sounds weird, but that's exactly what happened.
That is what happened, and it came from a real life thing where Jeff Hardy's house had actually burned down and his dog had actually died in the house fire,
and
they used it as a storyline.
Their storyline was Matt just trying to murder his brother because the pyro got rigged to like blow up in Jeff's face. He tried to commit actual murder.
Yeah, he did for no real reason.
Yeah,
I don't think a motive was ever given.
This person commented, so like someone said Marty Jannetty cowardly diving through a window instead of making up with his friend Shawn Michaels, which is the joke. And then
Very good.
Someone's commented underneath going, I'm kind of new to this. What's the joke exactly? I know they break up, but how did he escape through the window? And it's like, oh, sweetie.
Oh dear. Yeah, see, this is it. Just, educating people on these weird old moments of, even in a few years when we have a new generation of new wrestling fans, imagine explaining the Festival of Friendship to them.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be difficult, but it will make sense.
Yeah.
Vince and Shane screwing over Foley at Survivor Series 98, couple of Rock's heel turn. Best moment of this is Shane coming out and doing the fake 3 count where he's 1-2 holds and then just double birds Austin.
I like that.
Brilliant. That was brilliant. Yeah, I never even really considered that one. CM Punk turning on Ring of Honor as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah, great shout. They had the sort of final Summer of Punk was amazing with all that.
Yeah. Anytime Kevin Owens has turned on El Generico, Sami Zayn. Yeah.
Yeah, the turn his debut night, that NXT, the same night Sami Zayn won the NXT title, was stunning.
Yeah, exactly. I know I made fun of this person earlier, but I'll read it out anyway. Larry Zbyszko turning on Bruno Sammartino. Someone commented underneath, there aren't a lot of folks here old enough to know and appreciate the significance of this. But this was Hogan joining Hall and Nash big. It's true. Like, I've watched the Bruno Sammartino documentaries and all of that. It was ridiculously big.
I can't pretend to know enough about Bruno Sammartino or Larry Zbyszko to know about it, really.
I do love a bit of Larry Zbyszko, especially commentary. Gotta love him on the commentary.
Well, that's it, yeah. I remember him as a commentator in WCW. I've watched a lot of that, but as a wrestler, not so much.
Yeah. Undertaker drowning Paul Bearer in concrete.
That was weird. I remember that. That was Great American Bash 2004. That wasn't long after Taker had come back, was it?
No.
Mania 20. Yeah, that was weird. That was against the Dudleys. So the Dudleys had sort of found a way to control Taker or something. And then Taker ends up beating the Dudleys. So we think Paul Bearer's safe, but Taker's like, no, Paul. And ends up drowning him in concrete anyway. And then next week, it's just business as usual. It wasn't a big heel turn for Taker or anything. No. Taker just carried on with his life.
Just buried a man. And you actually saw it like filling
really
up. I don't know. It was weird. One I wanted to read out, which made me chuckle earlier. When God backed away from Shawn in his tag match versus Shawn and Shane, Vince and Shane, Shawn and Shane, he even cowardly watched the Spirit Squad put Shawn through a table. I was like, well done for your obscure reference and knowing exactly what we like to talk about.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Backlash 2006, I think. Yeah, fantastic. God left, made Shawn Michaels look like a bitch, and Shawn still loves God, even after that betrayal, because Shawn is a cuckold.
And that's for another one. A couple of like obscure mentions. Jimmy Havoc being one. He did kind of
being a cuckold to God is just really.
You're right, damn it.
That's just a funny thing. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Jimmy Havoc turning on basically Progress and having one of the best storylines that Progress or anyone has written in the past like 5 to 10 years. Absolutely incredible storyline. For any of our American listeners who don't like watch Progress or have like tuned in recently, get the subscription and just watch the rise of Jimmy Havoc and be more entertained than you've ever been in your life.
One of the best heels the industry has ever seen, without question.
Without a doubt. Flair betrays Sting, as me just mentioned before we came on air. That happened every week, so it was embarrassing.
Sting was like the most gullible dude in the world.
I'll be your best friend. And yeah, there's a couple like more random ones, but I feel like, you know, they're just trying to be smarky at that point. One I wanted to kind of mention, but I didn't want to be smarky myself, was Adam Cole getting super kicked out of Bullet Club. That's like my favourite Bullet Club turn, with Marty Scurll joining Bullet Club. I love that moment.
That was good. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that actually, because obviously people go to NXT and sort of start these new lives and you very quickly move on, don't you? But yeah, you're right. That was a great moment. A lot of the Bullet Club kickouts have been great. They did it to Fergal, and they did it to Kenny Omega. Did it to AJ Styles as well. It's just really, really
even
cool.
Recently with like Tama Tonga and Firing Squad and stuff. When Tama Tonga came out and just beat the shit out of the Elite and Cody and stuff, I was genuinely shocked and just like, oh my god, what's going on? You know, OG Bullet Club. I love what they're doing with Firing Squad at the moment, and I hope that kind of continues. But when Kenny Omega came on the Titantron and was like, Adam Cole, you're fired, you know, every good guy has a villain, and Marty Scurll's in the ring with the Bullet Club umbrella, it was just such a cool moment.
It was a cool moment. Another good moment I thought of, and I don't know if this counts as a betrayal or as a heel turn. I suppose top 5 heel turns we could do another time, couldn't we? And it would be a different list. Yeah. But sort of when Cody Rhodes had his first Ring of Honor match and against Jay Lethal, do you remember? And he'd been doing the indies, and he was this sort of, everyone was so proud of Cody for leaving WWE and going out on his own and stuff, and he'd been having these great indie matches, and then has this Ring of Honor match against Jay Lethal, I think it was, and he turns heel in that match, and so that sort of betraying the Ring of Honor audience who were so ready to be behind Cody as this 100%. New indie star, and the fans just lost their shit, like they just hated Cody for what he did, and Cody was acting like such a petulant, like the way he was running around and like sort of dodging everyone trying to catch him and stuff. It was just fucking brilliant.
Yeah, Cody's kind of like character working of people. Like we've mentioned before how we don't really like enjoy watching him in ring, but character wise, no one better.
Yeah, I agree.
Without a doubt. So those are our top 5 betrayals, and those are all of the audience's betrayals as well. I feel like we've covered the best of the best. You need moments of wrestling. Obviously, matches are important, but those moments that build to these feuds are just as important as anything else. So we hope you agree, and if you didn't, tough.
Suck it down there.
Suck it down there. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Please go and check out Game Till 5, our sister show. We're very proud to have them as part of the Got Till 5 network. A lot of you nerds like video games as well. So, you know, and they're ladies.
They are ladies.
You guys like ladies.
Well, I mean, I haven't personally done the full inspection, but I'm pretty sure they're both ladies.
So go and check out Game Till 5, but also, don't abandon us, because if you do, we will find you, and you will die.
You've got enough time in your life.
Yeah.
Yes, you will all die bouncing. You've got enough time in your lives for one more podcast. Come on, guys, and make it Game Till 5, and don't leave us.
Support the Got Till 5 brand. We're building a brand here. That's what we're attempting to do. He says.
Exactly. No, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Thank you for everyone who tuned into this episode and the ones previously. Thank you to the Elliott Jordan Experience for joining us at what feels like a week ago for an interview. And we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. We got 2 shows left, guys, of 2018. And these 2 shows are going to be a recap of the year previously, which we tried to do last year, but we had audio recording issues. That won't happen this time. So
yeah, we recorded a whole fucking show that
is lost.
Didn't actually get recorded.
It's lost.
Yeah, we just chatted to each other for 2 hours for no reason whatsoever.
We hated it. So we're going to be looking at the top 5 most shocking moments of 2018 on the 14th of December, because there's been a lot this year. Lots of stuff's gone on. And that will be not really WWE focused. This is going to be kind of industry wide, I feel. And then on the 28th of December, to round out the year, when you're all stuffed with turkey and you just want to chill out and listen to some guys. Yeah. Yeah.
God, I'm so full of turkey. I just want to hear some guys.
Some guys in my ear. God. You can listen to us guys on the 20th of December talking about our top 5 matches of 2018. So make sure you stay tuned to that. Follow us everywhere at Got Till 5. Jesse, what's the website which is now enhanced for mobile and desktop?
The website that is enhanced for mobile and desktop is gottill5.com.
Make sure you check that out. And thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you all in 2 weeks' time. Love you. Goodbye. Good night.
Bye all. Bye.
Wait.
What? Oh.
You have until the count of 5.
I happen to love the number 5. It's a beautiful number, a glorious number.
You got to the count of 5.